Hello, welcome back. I would love to introduce our next guest, who is Froots co-founder, and she's been with us growing Fruits. And I would love to just hear a little bit about her and where she got all her practices for money management and where everything is going. This person is very close to my heart. She has been putting in so much effort into making sure that we support everybody at Risk to Fruits and give them all the value that is possible. So, introducing Joy Thompson. Hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Joy Thompson. Hi, Arlyne.
Hi. It's so nice to jump on this. We've been saying we'll do this for literally a year. Like we have to do a podcast. We have to do a podcast. So I'm glad that we found the time to do it. But it would be great to just kind of introduce yourself in terms of your journey to here and what you're passionate about, just so people can get to know you a little bit more.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Joy. Nice to meet everyone on the podcast right now. Hello. So my journey basically as a co-founder of Roots to Fruits, I joined Roots to Fruits a couple of years back, about actually last year. Yeah, it feels so long ago. I don't know why. But
A lot's
so
happened.
yeah, a lot has happened and a lot of great things as well. So joining Roots to Fruits, I joined as a program manager, and I just wanted to understand where the business has come from and the mission of Roots to Fruits. And for me, I would say it was a very rewarding decision because I've seen how the company has grown over the last 4 years and where we're headed to right now, and the amount of scale we've been able to achieve in the last 1 year. I can say that a lot of strategies that we've put into place has brought us to where we are at today. A lot of implementation, and I dare say that I read something on Instagram a couple of days back, and it said when people tell you to do something, when mentors tell you to do something, or when you reach out to someone on LinkedIn, when they tell you to do something, do it, right? Don't give excuses and be consistent with it. And I've seen Arlene do this over the past year. Would have different strategy sessions or would have different meetups or different meetings. She's taking notes, yeah, but I'm looking at the fact that we are actually implementing what we're talking about. We're writing them down and we're actually doing it. So I can see a lot of growth from there. In terms of our partnerships, yes, we have done quite a number of partnerships, but we're looking to collaborate more so that we're able to help more people in the financial industry and also in the community that needs financial help. So yeah, where I'm looking at for Roots to Fruits, the 5 to 10 year plan is to help as many people as we can to understand why they need a financial wellness plan and also why they need to be educated so that they're able to make informed financial decisions for their future. And I know, yes, we're going to delve a lot into that today. So, yeah, it's been a rewarding decision joining Roots to Fruits, and I'm happy to be here to talk about that with you today.
Yes. I definitely echo that in terms of all the work that we've done, put in a lot of hours as well, and just driving it to see really from roots to fruit, literally.
Exactly.
So, and I'm excited how far we could take it because the sky's the limit. And so, in terms of like financial wellness, because I know how you deal with money, you've got some really great practices, but what does it mean to you, like personally? What does financial wellness look like?
So, first off, I would say not really about the money, right? I would say it's the knowledge of what to do, the decisions that you make that will definitely have an impact on your finances, right? So, for me, what it means to me, what financial wellness means to me is having the amount of information that I need to make certain decisions that would impact my financial choices. So, it could be taking out a mortgage, or it could be doing a trip, or it could just even be going to the stores to buy something for my daughter. And I would say that as much information as you have, I would say cherish it and keep building up on it because it will help you down the road. You don't know when and where, but it'll definitely help down the road. So for me, financial wellness is about equipping yourself with the right information that will impact your financial decisions now or in the future.
Oh, brilliant. That's very
Yeah,
true. And I think it's the same in terms of you can't, you can't change what actually happens to you, but you can equip yourself in terms of having the right
exactly.
tools to be able to deal with it. So those are good practices. And I don't know if you can share kind of maybe the mistakes you might have made so people can learn from in the past that you can share.
Okay, so I'm going to share a very funny one.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm going to share a very funny one, and it's not personal. It's just something I know it happens to a lot of people, and it's when you are being scammed. That's the first thing that happens. There's a lot of urgency. So I would share this particular experience where I'd been wanting to buy the latest iPhone. I'm not going to say which one, so you don't trail it back to the dates, right? So I was wanting to buy the latest iPhone, and I'd been saving up for it.
Mhm.
And then I got this really nice deal, like really juicy deal. And I hopped up on the deal and I bought the phone. And when I received the phone, it was an Android OS in an iPhone. And I'm like, okay, I'd just been scammed. And it was a big deal for me because it was kind of like a slap in my face because I don't make stupid
Yeah.
mistakes like that. But then again, it was a good lesson because it made me understand that if you were not up to date with the information about iPhones, because immediately when I was making the payment, I did have a bad feeling about it, honestly, thinking back, but I still went ahead to do it. I was
Intuition.
like, you know what? It's a risk. Let's see what happens. And that was not a good risk to take because I did have the information I needed to make a good decision, but I still went ahead to take a bad risk. I got the phone. Immediately I saw it, I already knew it was a bad idea. So going forward, I was like, I'm going to say no to a lot of urgency when it comes to making financial decisions. I'm going to say no to, if I have good information, I'll research much more before I go ahead to make that financial decision. Ask different opinions from different people, right? And then finally decide, right? And another thing to add for me would be pray about it because
Yeah.
it also works. It also helps. So that was a major lesson for me because I felt that I could have done much better. But for many people out there, I know there are a lot of victims. I would say that don't beat yourself up on it. Just take it as as lesson, a stepping stone to say that I would do much better next time. I would do my research. And for crying out loud, that's what we're here for. Holding your hand, walking you through the journey to make sure that you make the right financial decision. So yeah, that's an experience
Exactly.
I would never leave.
Exact. And you are not alone there. Literally, there's a story in the US of the CEO of a bank who got scammed out of millions. And it's not to say that, it's your fault for not knowing that that's what's going on, because you can't how are you to know what the other person is actually selling you, or as but then it's putting certain things in place, as you said, like think about it for a couple of weeks rather than I have to get it right now. So that's a very good
Exactly.
tip that you've offered people there. And there's something that you've said in the past, where we did another podcast where we were guests, in terms of your childhood and the practices that you were given to be able to kind of manage money and that you've carried forward. And do you mind kind of sharing how you managed to save up in the past, or kind of the budget methods personally that you've done, just so you can show that we practice what we preach here as well?
Yeah. So growing up, I was very conscious about money, right? My parents were very big on saving. Your spending habits don't live above your means. I had a lot of things that I needed, but they were very big on that particular practice because my parents came from a background where they suffered, not like they suffered, but it was funds were hard to come by. And then when they made things for themselves, when they made a name for themselves, they felt that they would like to do what their parents couldn't do for their kids, but also instill in them a good spending habit, which is what I grew up with. So I was very open minded when it came to spending money, right? So spending money the right way, saving money that parents or aunts and uncles would give me, I would go to save it. Instead of spending it on the next thing, I would go to save it. So I grew up basically like that. At some point in school, I funded some of my tuition, which was a good thing for me because I felt, self fulfillment, I could
That's
do this by myself.
amazing.
As we grew older, I worked with a couple of some of my friends. We started a company together. We're able to contribute
Mhm.
some amount of capital to start the company. And it was a very rewarding thing for me at that point because I had the money to also say I'm bringing it. That was my own form of capital and equity to the company. So that was that again. And then at a young age, I was able to make my first million naira. At that time, it was a lot of money, but right now it is not.
Mhm.
Bad inflation issues, economy as well. Yeah. So
Mhm.
at a very young age, I was able to do that, and I was very proud about that. Now, drilling down to the methods. So I had also had a mentor along the way that explained to me the 50, 20, 10. Now I'm getting this wrong. So it's very similar to what we teach here. So what we do with Rooster Freeze is 50, 30, 20. So I had the 50, 20, 20, 10 rule. So out of my
I see.
salary, I would get a 20% savings kept aside from my salary. And at that time I was still living with my parents, right? So I'll get a 20% kept aside for my salary. I had 10% for tithes, and I also had 20% for gifts and yeah, so basically gifts or also for offering in church. So I would always do that, and I was happy about that. And then 50% I would contribute it to the household, but sometimes I got away with not contributing it to the household. So I
You could
would definitely
save
put
it.
it back into my savings and get what I need to get after a period of time. So I would say that that helped me build a lot of, should I say confidence? Yes, confidence in knowing that
Yeah.
I had an amount of savings that I was not able to touch because I also ended up putting it into investments. I invested in different banks at the time. I bought stocks there, and I was also very up to date on the how the banks were doing, right? And I was also able to sell at a good time, got a lot of money back with interest when the banks were about to fold up. So that was a great deal for me. I was happy about that because a lot of my friends lost money when they did that with that particular bank because
That's
you have
the
to be up to
risk.
date with what's going on. Yeah. You have to be up to date with what's going on in your environment. And that helped me a lot. So, yeah, basically that's what my experience was like. And I would say that most of the money, so when I was about to get married as well, I didn't have to raise funds for it. I didn't have to ask people to pay to attend. I was able to do that with my husband because he too, good thing was that he also had knew how to manage finances. But I would say I do a
Good.
much better job. Let's make sure there's the
Yes, you
podcast.
do.
But yeah, um, and we were able to get monies together to handle the full cost of the wedding, which I was happy about, our honeymoon as well, and then also moving into a different country, right? That was another big step for me because it was a big move. You need a lot of financial capital to do that. I did get help from friends, yes, but a lot of it came from within, right? And that's one thing I'm really proud
Mhm.
of because there's
Mhm.
nothing that makes you feel so self-fulfilled when you've achieved a very big task, yes, on your own or with the people that you love, right? So I think my take home or my lesson here to many people or to everyone listening in on this would be that have the information that you need to make your financial commitments. And as much as possible, no matter how small, you can do it. Make sure you're doing a lot of saving, right? You're saving towards buying stocks or you're saving just putting it into fixed deposits, right? So make sure you're putting some money away for the future, no matter how small it is. At the end of the year, you had 200 bucks. That is success. You had 2,000 bucks. That is
Agree.
success as well. You have 20K. That's success as well. So no matter how small, just make sure you're doing it.
Yeah. Just start, which is a great tip. And what I'm learning from you here is that when you have a goal in mind, you work towards it, and also you always have some reserves just in case something big like moving countries, which is huge. If that comes up, because it was a
Yeah.
whole family moving, if that comes up, then you
Yeah.
can you can make that happen. You're not stopped by finances. Getting married, a lot of people actually get into debt. That's something that we should really research and cover. But a lot of people use credit cards, loans, and then they're paying it off over, 10, 15 years to get married
Yeah.
rather than saving up for it and then do it. And also just being mindful of how much you spend out there. So I love that those practices that you had from when you were young,
Yeah.
50, 20, 20, 10, helped you out up until this stage. So thank you for sharing that. I loved that you shared that you started investing back even when you were in Nigeria, investing in banks and stuff like that. Do you mind sharing how you gained the confidence and the knowledge to do that? What was your journey like? You don't have to go into too much detail, but maybe there's something where, because we've been talking about investments quite a lot in the past couple of weeks with our audience. It might be good to just kind
Yeah.
of find out from you what your personal experience was with that.
Okay, so I would say my first investment was with a bank in Nigeria called GTB. And at that time, they had another thing I did a research on was the managing directors, the shareholders, and all of those. I
Mm-hmm.
knew one of them personally through my dad. And I found out that this was a very good opportunity because if he was going into this and if he was going to become one of the board members, then this would be a good idea to look at. So I followed that information till I understood and saw that he was already on the board and this was what the trajectory looked like for the bank. So I did my research on the bank. I did my research on the board of directors. I also did my research on their success rates. And I decided I was going to invest this amount of money into the bank. And that led me for over, I would say, about 7 to 8 years before I finally sold because I needed the money, not because there was anything wrong with it. I needed the money. Another one was when I invested in another bank. For this particular one, I had been an account holder within the bank, and they had just sent out different circulars to say they're wanting people to invest and are we looking to become equity holders? And I was like, okay, let me take a look at this as well. So I reached out to a friend of mine that I knew that worked within the bank, asked her different questions about it. She had been worked with the bank. She had helped different organizations open accounts in that particular bank. So she had a lot of information about it. So I asked her, and I also did my research again about the board of directors and also about the bank opportunities, where they're going, their success rates and all. And then I realized this was something I was open to. So I bought in that bank. But when they were about to merge, I realized, okay, a lot of things are going to happen. A lot of percentages are going to get cut. There's going to be a lot of decreases in dividends. I was like, you know what? Before they merge, I'm going to pull out my money. I don't want to lose a lot. So let me just sell and get my money back. So I asked, by then she had left the bank. So I reached out to her to say, this is what I'm hearing. This is what's happening here. What do you think? She's like, oh, yeah, I think she's not going to give me a yes or no answer. She's just going to say, decide based on the information you have received. She also had shares in the bank. She sold some of them and left some because when they merged, they were able to get back on their feet, but she had a much reduced amount of shares. So I decided I'm going to sell all. So I did sell all. I got my money back. But some of my friends that didn't sell all, they lost a lot of money, and even kind of like the experience she shared with us at the Leeds event, where she invest. Let's say you invest about £500 and you get back about 100. That's what happened to many of them. But for me, I think I got if I invested about £500, I think I got about 650, which was out, which I was fine with at that time. So I would say for me, the important things were doing a lot of research on the company, the board of directors, who they really are. Try check them out on LinkedIn or see where they've come from, what their successes have been, how they relate to other companies that they've worked in. What did they contribute to the community or to the organization? What is the mission for this company right now? And what are they trying to achieve with your money coming into their company, right? Like all those information, all that information would help you to decide, is it a good thing for me to do? Do I want to invest this amount? Do I want to just invest 30% of what I'm thinking about? Do I want to take that risk? So it would inform your decision on how much risk to take. Would it be a low one, high, or medium, or do I want to stay out of it completely? So those are certain things that helped a lot, and definitely the economic issues, right? Who is in power at the time? Are they very, or do they align a lot with investments, or how are they handling the inflation or the economic crisis? What is their view towards it? Because those things also affect how a bank would operate and how long they would be sustainable within like the industry serving customers, right? So those are things to also watch out for. Yeah. So basically those are some of the things I looked out for
I
when I was doing investments, and what I'm still doing
that's
right now, trying to invest here in the UK, thanks to Arling as well.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing it because you've shown that, you know, if you invest in anything, your capital definitely is at risk. And the amount of research that you did and looking into this and talking to these people, a lot of
Yeah.
people feel like maybe investing is just putting your money somewhere and then magic returns come back. It's work. You have to do
Yeah,
your
it is.
research to
It
understand
is.
where your money is going. Hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. That was really, really fascinating for me as well, just hearing that in terms of what your personal experience was. But yeah, you had mentioned that I've already shared like the situation when I invested in, I'm gonna be honest, Deliveroo, and I put about £1,000 into it, and the day that it IPO'd, it just went down and it was worth 50% less or something like that, and then at some stage I only got like 35% back. So I did lose money.
Yeah.
Again, research at that point, that was my first time investing in stock. And I really just went with the hype, as you said, like think about it, step back, don't rush into it. I just listened to the news, heard the hype, heard that oh, people are expecting it to go up, but I didn't do that actual research into the industry to find out that these type of companies don't make that much profit, therefore you won't get dividends. So the share price is not that great. But that's my experience. There's a lot more that we can and will
Yeah,
discuss
yeah. We
on.
win some, we
Yeah,
lose some, but when we are educated, we win.
exactly. In terms of what we offer, right, at Rooster Fruits, we do a lot of like coaching, we do workshops, we support individuals, we support corporations and startups as well. And this is
Mhm.
all to empower people to be able to manage their own finances. I'm just going to ask like a cheeky one, actually, in terms of what has been your favorite event that we hosted and why. This is out of the bag.
That should go without saying. Empower her in Arlene's voice. So why that was my favorite? Because I've been very aligned with a lot of things in sustainability, sustainable development goals, and there's a lot on leadership that I've been following. A lot of leadership I've been following up on. A lot of carbon emissions I've been following up on, and then waste management, right? And for me, in terms of the leadership, that's where I come in strong on. Women are very capable to achieve what people feel they cannot, right? They should be a particular way in the workplace, but they should be like this at home. I'm big on I can bring who I really am to wherever I am. And if I'm able to manage a whole community of family, I can manage a whole community in the workplace, right? You still have the
Yes.
same similar personalities, similar issues. It's just that it's been seen or visible in a working environment. And for me, I've seen a lot of growth in the last 2 years where we see women moving up within the C-suite managerial roles, and I'm encouraged by that. So I know Empower Her was very focused on helping women of females to understand and see that they can bring whoever they are to the workplace, be themselves, and also still manage different people while working in their different roles, right? So apart from that, I think that struck a chord with me because I got to see different female leaders that have impacted different communities, different organizations, their contributions to a lot of Black people and also, yes, the community as a whole, right? And I got to see them actually impacting others in the room. And I would say that Empower Her came with a lot of strategy processes that we had built over a period of 6 months, right? And I would say it also was a pedestal to step forward and to step up in the different things we're trying to achieve as Roots to Fruits. Yeah, because it just gave me an opportunity to say that next year, when we have Empower Her 2.2, 2.0, which would be a different thing entirely. We don't know what it is right now, but we do have ideas leading up to the time. We know that it will be much more people in the room. We would have impacted more lives than we already did in the past year. And we are looking forward to getting more leaders that will let women know that they can be who they want to be. They can be their best selves every single time. And they can hold managerial positions without anyone telling them they cannot do that. And that imposter syndrome, I know it's a big deal for a lot of women because they've been subconsciously told that this is their place.
Yes, love it. It was such a special day, and I'm getting so excited just hearing you speak about what's to come. So I can't wait either for next year's Empower Her. So that's really great. Thank you very much. Would you recommend Roots to Fruit? Yeah. Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. Me too. We'll definitely share our details in terms of how to contact us. But as Joy said, we are very ambitious, excited, and enthusiastic and we want to support more people. We've got an ambitious target for the next 12 months to support 10,000 people and business owners as well. So hopefully we can get into the rooms and corporates to support employees. We can get into the rooms to support different communities as well. Those are church groups, charities that we also support, as well as just the individual that just needs our help. So please check out our website as well, so then you can see the type of services that we offer and reach out in case you have any questions. As you can tell, we are very friendly, so we'll talk you through how everything works. But that has been so insightful, Joy. Thank you.
That is all for us today, guys. Join us next week for some more seeds to sow. And please remember to support us by following and leave a rating on our show on whichever platform you're listening to us from. To those watching on YouTube, please leave a like and a subscribe to our channel. All of your support goes a long way. Thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, keep shining.